few months back, Meta got into some hot water with the Federal Trade Commission.
Now, the FTC argues that Meta engaged in an illegal buy or bury strategy to maintain its dominance on social media.
The U.S. government contends that Meta illegally cemented a social media monopoly when they bought Instagram, bought WhatsApp. They bought both when they were just tiny startups. They bought Instagram for about $1 billion. Today, Instagram is worth more than $100 billion.
The FTC were accusing the company, valued at $1.6 trillion, the parent company of Instagram and Facebook, of running some sort of social media monopoly.
Buying them in order to kill off your competition instead of trying to compete violates the antitrust laws, and what has resulted in less quality for consumers. Maybe there are more ads, less privacy protections, so it's really a quality thing since we don't pay for Facebook.
What has Meta said so far, or at least what are they planning on saying?
Meta's response was that they could not possibly be a social media monopoly, for they weren't even a social media company. Meta's argument was that for it to be a social media, people would need to be consuming content made by friends, which they are not. The official FTC filings say, today only a fraction of time spent on Meta services, 7% on Instagram and 17% on Facebook, involves consuming content created by friends. The majority of time is spent on both apps watching videos, increasingly short form, that are unconnected, i.e. not from a friend or a followed account, and recommended by AI-powered algorithms. This report forces me to at least ask the question, is everything good about social media dead?
So what's your take?
We need to start talking about how we're going to get off Instagram and Meta.
100% agree. I mean, it is time. We got to have the talk.
There has to be a way for you to find out who got engaged from your high school without electing Donald Trump twice. It's a great irony.
Excuse the hair. It's a bit windy on the roof. I think it's clear to pretty much everyone that screen addiction is a problem, that it leads to depression and anxiety and a lack of real-world connection. Politically, it can lead to radicalization. And if all that's not enough, what recently has gotten a lot of traction is the rolling out of AI slop.
Social media has gone through two eras so far. First was when all content was from friends, family, and accounts that you followed directly. The second was when we added all of the creator content. Now, as AI makes it easier to create and remix content, we're going to add yet another huge corpus of content on top of those. Very focused on establishing Meta as the leading frontier AI lab, building personal superintelligence for everyone, and delivering the app experiences and computing devices that will improve the lives of billions of people around the world.
So if everything about social media is making society worse, is the answer to burn down every data center and go back to a more analog era? Maybe. But I don't think so. I think it would be quite hypocritical to run a YouTube channel if those were my thoughts on social media. I think that what we're seeing now and a turn to AI slop is just a further continuation of a misstep in the evolution of the internet. But if you go back to what social media was originally when Mark Zuckerberg was first coding Facebook, it wasn't all bad. Initially, it was just this tool to bring you closer to people that you actually knew, people who you might have lost touch with or simply just weren't seeing that often in everyday life. But then came the financial incentives and all hell broke loose. For me, what's beautiful about social media is having this outlet to share your thoughts and feelings about the world with people who you actually know. That's why I started making these videos. But in recent times, these videos have started getting a couple more views than just people who I know personally. I didn't even realize it, but there was a bit of a hole in my social media user experience where I was either editing these videos for an audience greater than my personal friends to watch, or I was posting pictures on my Instagram and my stories, but I was never really communicating directly with my friends about our real lives. And that's where Dylan steps in, and this website that he's created called Rogha. Dylan was visiting New York a few weeks ago, and I asked him whether he'd let me shove a camera in his face to talk about Rogha, and he very kindly agreed. So here he is explaining what Rogha is.
So it's a small blogging platform for small groups of friends where you can post anything you want, but the gimmick is that it only gets published at the end of the week. So Monday or Tuesday, any day, I can write a little piece, add a photo, add a title. When I submit that to the platform, all my friends will get told that I've submitted, but they can't read it until Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Irish time.
Before I get into the full interview, I just want to say that this is not an ad. Dylan is one of my best friends, but he did not ask me to make this video, nor does he or I make any money off anybody using Rogha. The reason I'm making this is because I've written a personal essay every week for the last number of weeks and read personal essays written by my close friends every week for the last number of weeks because of this platform that he's created, and I think it's really cool. I definitely feel a little closer to my real friends through a digital social media, which is something I can't really say I have done for the last number of years. So without any further ado, I hope you enjoy the rest of my interview with Dylan, the creator of Rogha.
I love this rooftop.
So aesthetic.
Oh, it's a nice day to sit in the sun.
When you were coming up with the initial ideas for Rogha, what were the reasons why you felt like this was something that kind of needed to be made? Why did it need to be made now?
When I moved away, inspired by some other friends of mine, mind you, I started using email as a good way to just kind of send a more meaningful catch-up message. I'm not great for keeping in touch over text sometimes, so I found that longer form, big update. I'd often write in the plane or something, everything I've been seeing in my new life in the new place. That idea of having kind of a more dedicated space specifically for that was really exciting. I wasn't getting it from Instagram or even text and stuff. I just wanted some sort of new structure to actually keep up with those people. And I think we had specific examples that were kind of like it. We have some group chats that are specifically for different things. We have a great group chat where all you're allowed to do is send in a photo of a nice pint and describe that pint. And I just always thought that was a cool idea to kind of redefine social media in a way that was kind of built for purpose, for something that you actually want.
What does it look like on the app to create a post, and then when is it shared and how is it shared?
It's really bare bones right now, right? I think that's part of the design, is that it's not trying to be too perfect. It's just to create a post, you just go into your kind of post section, you click the create button, and then it's just a blank screen for you to write whatever you want. You can give it a title and you can add a single photo. Welcome to Rogha. Rogha is Irish for choice. It is a simple social media for friends by friends. No ads, no bullshit. Actually social in the way that matters. Just the people you choose to care about. Reimagined, which is Irish for on with us. And then I want to say about Editions. So Editions is the first kind of social media experiment that we're trying here. You post for your friends, but on an old school weekly publishing schedule. And the constraints breed creativity in the sense that the weekly cadence gives users time to craft their posts and incentivizes quality over quantity. That shared experience, the regular publishing time creates a bit of a buzz and community around that shared schedule. And then lastly, that small audience. So I feel other social media strive for scale, but scale can kill honesty and freedom of expression. Editions is designed for small groups so that you can share freely and deeply by creating your own intimate circles of friends. You click submit and then it kind of sits up there in the cloud until Sunday. So on Sundays you'll get an email that tells you that this week's Rogha has been published. So for example, if me and you are friends, I get to see your article or your little tweet or whatever you posted for the week, and you'd be able to see mine and any other friends that posted that week as well, in kind of a newspaper kind of feed format.
And then once you read all those posts from all those friends, then what?
Whatever you want. It ends, I guess, is the kind of point. You kind of see what people have actually taken the time to write down, but then it's it's over. It takes maybe an hour to scroll through and read, and then that's it. And then it's a whole week until you kind of do it again. So
I think what Rogha offers is a very a lot of the positives of social media and the initial kind of selling points of social media of being this thing that connects you with friends, connects you with people that you don't see that often throughout the year. The kind of initial selling points that why people downloaded like Facebook and Instagram and loved it in the first place. Rogha kind of offers that as their main selling point, as your main selling point, bringing back that connection to people you actually know personally, where it seems like in the 20 years of social media, the way things have just developed is because that doesn't really make any money. What's become valuable is our data to then be sold to advertisers, which then creates a very like manipulative whole industry, I guess, where you are the product. If you're not paying anything and they have to make money somehow, it's obviously you that's being taken advantage of. So what does Rogha do that offers a point of difference to that?
I think you've nailed it there with the idea of the positives within it, right? I think it's sometimes the way we talk about social media. Like all my friends and me complaining about like how horrible Instagram is and TikTok, and we're still using these platforms. And like there's this disconnect between like what we're saying and what we're doing, because like we're complaining about all the time, but you're not like really changing those habits sometimes. I think part of that's because like it is delivering some of the things it says. It's just doing a lot of other stuff as well. So like what you said, like early internet, like you can stay connected with friends, you can kind of see what they're up to. Like Instagram still does a lot of that stuff. It definitely helps you kind of keep vaguely in the know. And there's just enough of that positive in there still that it keeps people like really hooked in, and like you really don't want to lose out and kind of have that fear of missing out, to the point where I think people feel really trapped in the ecosystem, because like to leave that would almost be like kind of leaving the circle of the know, right? I think, I mean, not to plug again, but that's what Rogha, that's originally why I called it Rogha, right? That's Irish for choice. And I think it's like realizing that you do have a choice beyond these things. Like the extreme choice of like deleting all your social media is actually really extreme in like a world that runs on, like that's the new social contract. That's like how you keep in touch with friends, how you get invited to anything you want to do, how you find out about events, etc. So I think unplugging completely is like not the answer, but I think if you're not paying attention to the kind of implicit choices you're making by being on some of these things, those choices are kind of being made for you. And like you said, these platforms, while they kind of have these great things to them, there's other incentives and other design features that are not necessarily looking out for you. I'm getting really sick of like other platforms being built for stuff that I didn't want to do. Like the big ones being feeling really trapped in like even like something like a Snapchat, right? Like I want to delete that app so badly because it's like, it's not fun. But like I have a few people who have like close friend stories on there that I don't want to lose touch with. And then you blink and the next thing you know you're like 5 taps deep into like streamer drama. And Instagram as well was like, I go on to do something specific and then like next thing you know I'm like scrolling something else. There was no way to turn any of those things off because they don't want you to turn them off. So I just got really pissed off and fed up, and like that's always been one of the biggest problems for me with any social media I've been on, is like the time part of it. Like time is so precious and it's so easy to throw it into anything and have it taken from you by something that kind of steals it from you. So knowing something has an end or has that kind of finite nature is kind of rare these days on a lot of platforms, because I mean the more you're on it the more money they make, and that's what they're designed to do. There's like quantity, right, and there's also quality. Like I think I'd rather read 2 like short essays written by people I actually know and care about, even if they're like objectively like poor writing or like however you define quality, but like I'd rather read those from people I care about and they're like important things than watch like 1,000 short videos of random things that like I don't even know if I'd be interested in, or they're engaging, but like at the end, like I don't come away from those feeling like I spent meaningful time.
Were you saying you weren't really getting it from Instagram or even calls or WhatsApp messages or text? It is completely different, because even like a catch-up call, you're catching someone in the middle of the week, they're separating time out of their week, you're kind of interrupting their schedule. Someone in Ireland could be late at night, they're getting ready for bed, even though it's like you're in the middle of your workday here or whatever, and you're catching someone, you're kind of interrupting their life to have this catch up. Where I think the beauty of Rogha is like they've written that at a time that was convenient for them, and it's deeper thoughts that they've thought over a longer period of time than just something they said quickly. You don't really know. There's a lot of influences of like what makes you say something in a moment. Sitting down to write 600 word, 800 word personal essay is like, it's just a bit of a deeper level of thinking required, of critical thinking. So I think you're kind of, I feel like I'm connecting with very, very close friends who I've known for years and years on a level that like I hadn't previously, which is just, it's a very weird and like powerful thing.
Yeah, that's so true, Steve. I think like, I guess the point is like you're by no means replacing that phone call, right? It's like completely additive in my mind. Like it's a completely different medium, which brings out a completely different side of people. And I'd agree. I think I've seen people write things I didn't know they felt or didn't know they were capable of, and everything from like really funny, silly little like small updates. Like doesn't have to be like huge essays, and then like something like expansive, like really beautiful things. And I think I'm not going to stop calling my friends, but I'm so glad to have like this other way that they can kind of express themselves, like a whole new channel to kind of, like you said, kind of sit down and give it that deep level of thought.
It seems like you're kind of applying almost like a very efficient kind of like businessy startup mindset to the app. And it just made me think about comparing kind of like things in your social life and being connected to your friends to like the workplace. Me and a couple of my friends, the last like 3 weeks on a Sunday, directly after I read the Rogha post, like 3 p.m. on a Sunday, we've had a Zoom call for like an hour and a half where we just all catch up. And we were just like, I have maybe 5 calls in work a week that are at the same time every week with the same people, where we talk about the specific things with the project we're working on. How weird is it that we don't just have these set times in the week to be like things become big things in terms of, especially living abroad, living around the world or whatever, catching up with your friends becomes such big things to be like, we haven't caught up in a year, I'm kind of worried, like this person's changed, I'm kind of nervous to call them. Just having like a set time in the week to be like, we're just going to call and chat at this time.
Yeah.
We've only done it for 3 weeks, but we've kind of just been thinking, why haven't we been doing this for years? Such a weird, like, I think almost like adding in like work style efficiencies of how you manage companies into your actual social life and circles. I think there's a lot of benefits to be doing that.
That's so cool. I guess I kind of call it like bringing structure to some of these things. I mean, this is like, I guess like I'm particularly like type A or whatever you call it. Like I'm all for this. Like if we could schedule like a weekly KPIs for friendships, I probably would. But I do something to it. I think you're right. I think when work itself and your other priorities in life have this like rigorous scheduling and various tools and things, like, I mean, your Outlook calendar, all these things, like when there's so much like space given to those things and they have all this like these methods to like get you to buy in, and then you're like, your approach to social life is just like to, oh yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it. Yeah. It kind of inevitably gets like deprioritized. So I think, yeah, absolutely. Let's weaponize the technology and kind of ruthlessness of some of these things to
weaponize corporate structure.
Yeah.
I think lives. I wanted to just share at some point in the video how much I've been enjoying Rogha lately. I think I've always been someone who felt like they wanted to kind of share their thoughts. And that started with a little photography Instagram page a couple years ago. That's turned into a YouTube channel where I now share myself. But like, the kind of point of the YouTube channel is to share my thoughts with my friends. And it's sort of like some random videos have grown into bigger things that people who much beyond my friends have like seen. But what I've loved about Rogha the last couple of weeks, it's just a whole different thing creating a piece of media that is specifically designed for a very small, intimate group of friends. You just feel like you can be so much more vulnerable. It's like going and getting a coffee with a friend, kind of the things that you say. So I think I'm just so thankful that it exists as just an outlet to kind of set some time aside, either on a Sunday to read or on early in the week to write, this time to just... Oh, you have a wasp.
Oh my god.
And cut.
You're not allowed to use me running away from a wasp.
No, I wouldn't dream of that. But yeah, I think it the feelings that I have now towards social media and when I'm using social media, the feeling that I have using rogha is so different. It just feels like the time spent on it, it just feels more similar to like me sitting down with a pen and paper and journaling than it does to how I associate my use of social media, or what the term social media, which we've discovered or what we've discussed, is not really social media.
Like when you're forced to like verbalize or write something, it forces you to face what you actually think. And why I made it was kind of born out of frustration of, I guess, kind of having some great friends who like I wasn't keeping in touch with as much, and like enjoying the process of writing and sometimes sending like a good email back home, and just not feeling like I was having a good outlet to like engage like asynchronously, you know, like a good call here and there, but like I wasn't getting it from Instagram or even text and stuff. I just wanted like some sort of new structure to actually keep up with those people. I thought it'd be fun. So kind of born out of frustration and a goal to create something new, to kind of hear what my friends are thinking and really kind of become closer to them again. I think it's definitely succeeded in both of those so far.
So nice.
I'm trying to be brief. I'm not.
We're done here.
We're done here. That was so much fun to see.
Although this is not an ad, if you do want to make a rogha account, the link will be in the description below. But, warning, for it to be any good, you need a couple of friends to sign up to. Thanks for watching.